Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to completely service or restore a Hoover convertible. Only one thing I did ahead of time, which I'll demonstrate as we reassemble this, is the vacuum bag. But other than that, that's why it's not on there, but I'll show you how to do that. But in its current state, I'm going to show you the tear down, cleaning, relube, etc. process. And for some reason, this is like the third convertible I've got where the previous owner put the handle on wrong. Put the cord wrap on the wrong side. Anyways, that's the first part you start with, is the handle. As you can see, I have the bag off already. The problem is, you'll find in a lot of convertibles, if they were stored for a long time, say this might not slide, the bag release, so you may have to take off the bottom plate, which also holds the rear axle up, and it's spring loaded for height adjustment. It's held in by 2 screws here and here. So if you can't get it off with this, you gotta take that bottom plate off and the bag will pop right off. And as you can see, it's pretty disgusting. And also somehow they screwed up this plate too. It's on backwards. How can you screw that up? There's a hole right for that little notch to go into. Oh, let's take it apart. Okay, we got that out. Just a big flat blade screwdriver is all you need. The nice thing about this is it's just a standard plug underneath. You just pull up on the handle, and there you go. And we'll fix the handle later. Same type of screw. We'll just have to reverse the bottom part of the handle. Alright, so now next thing you're going to do is flip the vacuum over. Alright, we're on the bottom then. As you can see, this is sort of free floating because I got that piece out, which is good. It can get cleaned up while we're in there. And it looks like we got a spider here. Yikes.
Likes vacuums.
So anyways, first thing we'll do, I'm not gonna worry about the spider. We'll just slide that open. Undo that. Ooh.
Oh God.
Somehow the belt's still on, but it's not even on the pulley. It slid down the pulley. It's so clogged up. What the hell? Well, let's begin. Okay, now we'll just take the brush roll off. Set that there. And you're gonna get a little dirty doing this. Now let's see, the belt doesn't have any cracks in it. I may try to save it. Okay, I ain't touching that just yet. So just need a Phillips screwdriver. Some of the older ones will have a flat blade screws right here, but they're all the same all the way back to the 1957 model. Even the metal base, so. It's a little hard to see. Okay. This will remove the hood. Also put everything in a cup. I like to sort it like this. I'll show you in a minute. Anyhow, you flip it over. Put the handle down 1 notch, maybe this down the high, and this will come right off. Not too bad, but you bitch. Ew, we have dead stink bugs in there. Alright, now you want to take off the upper bearing. 3 screws here. This is where I grab a second one of these. And this pop off. Well, it's dry, but we'll fix that. It will say, this one doesn't say it. Usually it says do not lubricate. No, it's one of those permanently lubricated jobs with the pad. You just put more oil in it. Show that later. Alright, we'll stop there. We have to have access to this upper cooling fan. Grab it. 4 screws hold the entire motor to the base. So we'll take those off. They're Phillips on this one. And this one over here with the cord will have a little metal bar that holds the cord down in place right here. So put that all in the same bucket. Now when you first pull up, it's probably not going to budge as it's never been removed. So move that stink bug out of the way. I like to stick a small screwdriver right here and just gently pry up. There, it broke loose. There we go. And we got to pull and flip. So now we have that nasty thing to contend with. This pulley is reverse threaded. So first we'll just try, see if it'll break loose on its own. Up spinning the entire assembly. So we'll try this again. Okay, there, it broke loose. If that happens, just grab this fan up here. Sometimes if the fan decides to unscrew, carefully stick a screwdriver in here to use it to hold it in place. Be careful on the plastic ones. I've never had one break, but I'm just saying. We'll deal with this after we wash it, but the entire pulley's just screwed up. For the motor, I take another little plastic cup, put all the motor pieces in. You'll have either a plastic or a fiber washer right underneath of that. So we'll pull that off. Maybe a little tight. Pull that off. Oh my, look at that. So, and this will lift right off. Okay. Then under here you'll have a washer and a spacer. There's a little thing there. Then we flip it back over and we'll see if we can get this fan undone. Nope. Now that's too tight. So what we'll do, take this, thread it back on, not too tightly though, and we'll just, the top fan is counterclockwise to loosen. So it's still turning. Hang on. Okay, now it's gonna break loose, or so I think. There it goes. So the cooling fan on top. Set that with the main fan, and this one will just come right off. Okay. And I take it a step further. Flathead. There's 4 more screws here, 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 and here. On the newer ones, I'm gonna guess late 70s and newer, they will have the bottom bearing was always a ball bearing, but the newer ones are sealed. You don't have to worry about lubrication there. The older ones are open, and if I was restoring one of those, after this is all said and done, I'd be squirting fresh grease into it. So now this will lift off. Look at those brushes. They're like brand new. So we'll just release that wire there so I can flip this. And there's your field coil. That'll pop off like that. And yep, as you can see, it is a sealed bearing. So no worries here. Well, it's obviously stored in a good environment. There's no rust on it. So this part's done. show you what I'm gonna do in a minute. But here, I'll pick this up, move it out of the way. Ew. Next thing we'll take care of is the brush roll. This is a newer one with the plastic ends. So just break them loose. On the older metal ones, if they're stuck on, take 2 pairs of channel locks on each end and twist. It'll break loose. Okay, that one came off. You can tell this thing's never been serviced. Yeah, sometimes only one will come off, but if that does, you should be able to, yeah. At least if one comes off, you can pull this out. Okay, next step. Where the brush roll is, very carefully insert a small flat blade screwdriver in, if I can. It's kind of hard, it's a little tight. Might not be showing up good on camera in that angle. Kind of just stick it in there and carefully pry. Pry as close to this piece and this piece after the brush insert. Reason being, because on 2 of them I pried in the middle of this and it broke that section off. It won't hurt anything, but it's just a piece of pot metal. Okay, good, we got that. And once you get it started, wiggle it out. Brush slides out. That's how you actually replace the brushes on this. And the other side, do the same thing. Yeah, once you get started, pull off, brush off, there you go. Should be anything in the brush roll. Now, see, this is empty. Sometimes I gotta get a pair of vice grips to get the other one off. So we have 2 end caps. Okay, there's nothing in this one right here, is there? No. Okay, you have your bearing and a spring washer and this metal piece. This side, same thing. First thing I'll do is smack it. If it doesn't come off, take a small screwdriver. There we go. Okay, so now the brush roll has been completely disassembled. Another clump of hair or dirt or string or something, whatever. I keep these in a separate bin. I put the bearings like this for a reason in one bin, and I'll put these in another bin. And that's it. The vacuum has been completely disassembled. That said, now we're going to separate what has to go into the parts washer. So, as in the bins, these 4 do not. These will be going through the ultrasonic cleaner, which I'll demonstrate. Set them aside. These big ones, because they're bigger and they're packed full of crap, I'm running through that. So now we have all the pieces disassembled. Let's take it over to the parts washer. Now this is all loaded in the parts washer. Yes, even the electricals. It won't hurt it. In fact, it'll help it get all that built up dirt and everything else out of it. Brush roll, hood, base plate, fan, everything. And the other pieces I was mentioning. Let's do this. Okay, so everything is loaded in here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just do a quick rinse and get all that dirt off. and we'll show what it looks like shortly after that. It's only 5 minutes. But in the meantime, what about the bag? Well, unfortunately, I already did the bag. It's already done. It's already clean. As you can see, it looks like brand new. And there's that little plate that goes over the rear axle, and the screws there, and the little bag for the screw. I'll show how that happens upon reassembly. How do I wash the bag? Actually, in the washer. I've been restoring a bunch of convertibles, so I washed 2 of them at once, on delicate, on warm, medium, so enough room to float around, and gentle action will get the bag clean inside and out. It's also good to do it like that because one of the bags I tried doing in the sink had a tiny piece of glass in it and I got cut on it. So this is the best way, and it makes it perfectly clean. Even this little piece here is perfectly spotless. So that's how you do it. Oh yeah, there that is. The thing is, that vacuum was relatively clean to what I've been working on. There were some that were far, far worse than this. Now this is to show what it looks like with just a quick rinse on it. How much cleaner all the parts already came. Oh yeah, and that's the part that goes on the bag. Let's see what happened there. Oh yeah, I got rid of all that dirt there too. Nice. So, dishwasher tablet. Yep, I use it. And I am using heated drying because it'll aid in the process. So now we come back within an hour or so and see where we're at. It is complete. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Everything's nice and clean. So now, what you want to do, we got to get the water off the surfaces like this. So I'm going to turn it. Now you have a fan blowing on it. The fan is pretty good right now. Put this forward a little bit. It's right there. It'll blow right over everything on the motor. And we'll just leave it go for 24 hours. All the other parts I mentioned that have to go through the ultrasonic. Right, these cups. So here's the ultrasonic. Power on. Preheat 40 degrees, 20 minutes. Don't have to take them out of the cups. Just do this. Sink. And I just keep doing this. This is just simple green. Yeah, by leaving, they won't float. So by leaving them in the cups, everything still remains sorted. Like that. Just put the lid on, and then we hit. I probably messed the audio up, but that thing's being ultrasonic, it's gonna do that. And the bearings for the brush roll, this simple green plus the ultrasonic automatically removes all the grease from them and cleans them. Okay, we're done. Now it's time to get it rinsed off and drying. Yep, and there's all the hardware still sorted. Bearings. So anything else that's on we'll address. Well, clean like a piece of something on there. Yeah. Some of the parts in here, like the brushes and the end caps and stuff, that we are going to run those through the ultrasonic now for some extra cleaning. Okay, everything's all in there. Might be another sudden loss of audio, but here we go. The all pieces I just did just back down here and let that dry it. Other ones, and then we're back in the bins again. That's fine. One more thing I like to do, just due to how stubborn it is, the little bellows here and the little tube that go in the bag. This is obviously a replacement. So this vacuum has been serviced in the past, at least on that part. What we're going to do is also stick this in soak. That'll loosen up any dirt that's on there. And okay, now we are going to fix this handle and clean it up. So first we got to take that out, like so. Now it's oriented the correct way. And now to begin cleanup and detailing, including the power cord. And afterwards, as you can see, the paint's all nice and shiny, the power cord's clean. Handle's nice and shiny too, like new. Now we begin assembly of the brush roll. These have all been thoroughly cleaned, as you saw. So just back in. Just like that. Now, all the end pieces. The bearings. Now for the bearings, this applies to even the older style with the metal metal end on it. It's an nylon piece. I'll show you how it looks. You just very carefully take a small screwdriver, pry up gently on all sides, and that'll pop off, and you can see the ball bearings. Get some of that little bit of crud that's still down in there out. The ultrasonic takes care of the majority of it. Sometimes this stuff, you know, it's stuck in there. You gotta pull out yourself. But all the old grease and everything is gone. Let's see, you got some hair in there. Nasty. That's really about it. It's been cleaned. And this is all I've been using all this time on vacuum cleaner bearings. The easiest thing to do is take a toothpick, and we're going to pack it in. Okay, and then we do the other one. A little bit more. Try to put as much in as I can without it being, you know, squirting out. You know, just keep it all inside. I want to be thoroughly lubricated. So no, you don't have to replace your bearings. They just need to be cleaned and lubricated, like so. Then I'm just gonna clean off these nylon ends. Now, I had some convertibles that went without maintenance and stuff got caught around this, and it actually ran at such a high speed it burned up these nylon pieces, melted them, and I had to replace. They were that bad, but that was only like on one vacuum. And just push it back down on firmly on each, like so, and then I just give it a few turns, get the grease distributed, and I'll just wipe off any excess that's on the outside, which wasn't much. Same with this. And like once you run the vacuum for the first time, it'll really get distributed and smooth out. So that's done. Spring washers. Now it's time to start reassembling. Brush roll end. The piece that's only like that goes right around the where the brush is, and there's a notch right there. You just line it up, push it on. Now when I clean it, there's like nothing in it to impede movement, so it kind of slips right on. But if you have any trouble, I just very carefully take it down on the concrete or whatever and just tap all around till it gets on. That went on, no issue. Now, spring washer. I probably didn't show that. It's off camera. Spring washer down in there, and then the nylon piece goes outside like so. Then we'll take this shaft, and I have to look up in here. Okay, and I just take one of the end caps and screw it on. Right, it wants to be, it's spinning the whole thing. Hang on. Well, as long as you get some of it on for one side, because the other side do exactly the same thing. Line up that notch. Push down, make sure all sides are thoroughly seated. Then spring washer. Now it doesn't matter which end either end cap goes on. So just tighten it down and tighten them till they stop. And right there. And it's already smoothing out, but like I said, after the first true run of it where it distributes the grease and everything, it'll get really smooth. But you can feel it's nice and smooth. That's all there is to servicing the brush roll. Now we're back with the freshly cleaned base. Just have to wipe a little off with a wipe here. Some of that really fine stuff just kind of does that, but just take a wipe. I'll do it more thoroughly once I get the motor attached and go to detail it. You get the idea though. This wasn't that dirty. Some of the other ones I had, you would not believe how dirty they were. And regarding my comment about the brushes, someone's probably gonna say, oh, it's probably never been used that much. No, I've seen ones that were used very hard and they still had a ton of brush life left, just like this. These were just fantastic machines, you know. Quality. None of this Dyson crap. And inside here, swipe off. Any residuals. Now you can see the lower bearing. Nice sealed. But what we're going to do now, we're going to clean this off real quick on the ends. And the commutator. Let's do that with a little alcohol. Okay. Just like that. And we'll try to get this top piece back on first. Let's just take the brushes, push them in. Might help if I get the wire routed. This brush right here comes around to this side. The other one, got to go through the other hole over there, which I'll address in just a second. On this side, usually the wire going to the field coil would do the same thing this one's doing from the top. This version apparently goes in through the bottom right here. But if it was going through the top, you'd have to make sure it slides in through this hole. Apparently I don't have to worry about that. That's what I was looking for. So there are slight variances between motors and models, but they're all relatively the same. All right, what are we stuck on here? Wire. There we go. It's perfectly seated. Now, get the screws from earlier. These will most likely always be a flathead screw, and relatively that size. 4 of them, so you got 1, 2, 3, and where's number 4? Okay. Okay. Just how it's seated now. That's together. I can pick this up. We're going to flip this around. Got a little something caught in there. Pull that out. More hair. And now reassembly. That spacer, just like that. You have washer there. Fan. Okay, this one is indeed a fiber washer. I think they're all fiber washers. Sometimes it's just easier to thread it on like a screw till it stops. It's so tight. Now, I have to clean this off, so we're going to stop here for a second. Let's see. I'm going to take a knife, aka psychotic death weapon.
Shing.
Shing. Very carefully just try to cut some of this out because it's going to take forever. grief. I mean, whatever they got caught around there just kept wrapping itself around the pulley, then it wouldn't even ride in the pulley. Starting to let loose. I think this is the worst pulley I've ever had to deal with in terms of this. I'll say it so far. Good grief. Still going. Still more. Now we're getting towards the center, looks like. And there's the pulley. Good grief. Look at that.
That is a lot of shit.
Yeah. It's all curly and shit.
Now that Spats Bear has removed the pubes from the vacuum.
Yeah, nasty. Let's see. Now back to our regularly scheduled assembly. First threading, so it goes, excuse me, counterclockwise. And I stopped there. I'm gonna put the fan on top. Alright, now tighten this up so it stops. Or so okay, there it goes. Kind of gripped. Let's see if I can get it through here. Nope, spinning the top fan. So, okay, that's why it loosened. It's kind of difficult because you try tightening one and then the other one breaks loose and so forth. Okay, that's nice and tight. Fan on top. I'm just going to grab the bottom pulley, make sure it's tight there. So there, that's what it's going to do. But spins. All right, now let's do this. I'm actually gonna wipe that off first before I put it back on. Nothing special you have to do with the seal. It's like this never really wears out, so nothing to do there. That's the one thing I'll say, like I've worked on Eurekas and they don't use as good of quality seals, and you oftentimes end up having to replace them. Weather stripping, whatever, silicone, RTD. Hoover's never had to do it no matter the age. So set that there. Try this again. It slips in like that, and this pretty much falls right into place. Nope. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's fine. It's fine what we're doing here, but here's what I'm going to do next. Right as I slid it. Okay, next step we're going to do is lubricate this top sleeve bearing. The older ones don't have these little notches here, but you can see the pad for it. But what you do, easiest thing, we'll just squeeze in some zoom spout. We'll fill this up to the top, let it soak down in. And then magic number, I'd like to soak the whole pad but not overdo it, is 3 times of doing this like this. So fill it up again. Let it soak down in. Okay, it's down at the bottom. We'll do it a 3rd time. Now what we're going to do, set the top bearing on, slide it down. Goes in place. These will be 3, the smallest flathead screws, lengthwise that is. And just work your way around. Don't tighten it up all the way, just like that. It's not like a normal motor housing where you have to keep playing with it. Usually, once you do that, and that order should be as free spinning as it can be. Just like that. Now we're ready. Slip this in. Like that. These would be the same type of screw that holds in the top hood, typically. Don't forget that little metal plate that holds this down. Oh, come on.
Just blew your kiss.
No, you didn't. Come on. Just the way it was originally. There. And that's it. All right, we got the back plate on now. Make sure that little metal piece is right there where that slot is. And I just use a little bit of oil on this because it helps, you know, it makes things more freely when you try to adjust the height adjustment. So I'll just set that there. Still a little stiff up top because I still have to lubricate it, but while we're down here, we're going to oil the wheels. Drop of oil on each side. Sometimes you'll still find little bits of hair as well. Over here, same thing. Drop of oil on each side. Bottom. Get that off of there. How about that? Now, since the original belt doesn't have any cracks in it, I'm gonna reuse it. I actually ran this through the parts washer and it retained its grippiness. All right. Send cap here goes on this side into this slot. Easiest thing for me to do. Put it on there first, pull it down, line this up. Not quite, it kind of moved on me. Hang on. There we go. Okay, now it's straight. That's on, and it's spinning the correct direction. When this brush roll is spinning like this, the motor underneath will be spinning clockwise, as shown. So everything looks good there. Now we're going to assemble the bottom plate. Sure that's nice and tight. Sometimes I've had to bend these little tabs down just a little bit to make it a little tighter, but it's obviously a perfect fit. I flip it back upright. Now we'll lubricate all the mechanism pieces back here. Let me just wipe this down a little bit. Do anything that moves. This little pulley there for that. Anything that's hinged. I also run a stream right there to, probably can't see that, but along here to help this loosen up some. Get on the one side. Get all the way over, because this vacuum here, I couldn't get the bag off of this. It was stuck in place. So there we go. Now it's loosening up. So just keep working your way over. Drop oil, drop oil, drop oil. Then on this side here, let's put a drop of oil on there, on there, on there. Move it up, squirt a little right down in here. And then this working a few times. Oh yeah, see now it's going nice and easy when you adjust. Same with the handles. Real smooth now. Just like that. And right now, what I'll do before we enter the part that takes the longest, polishing, I'll just give it one quick wipe down. Get any thing off like I was showing earlier. Just amazing how this stuff gets stuck on like that. All the little dirt and crevices out. That cooling fan in here, what it does, that vent you always see on a convertible, it'll suck air in the side here over the field coil, and it vents out the top, having positive pressure underneath the hood, and it'll blow out any remaining holes, orifices, whatever on top. So it keeps positive pressure in there, preventing most dust from building up. This guard's a little dirty. And if you're wondering why the bumper guard only stops here, this was an economy model basically. There's no headlight, and the bumper guard's only a third wrap around. Higher end models, you wrap it all the way down to the back, probably have a headlight. Oddly, this one has a cord grip, or handle grip I should say, as you saw when I was cleaning up the handle. Just weird how they optioned it. He likes ruining my videos. He's a bitch. Human toilet. Clean off that wire to the brush. And now begins the fun part. And now for the part that may take a little bit, but totally worth it, to detail the machine. First off, we start with Nova's plastic polish, the way the camera's oriented. And this is number 2 to remove scratches, but it also will remove any scuffs on the machine itself. got both sides done. It's a drastic improvement to what was there before. Some of it is stained, but there's nothing to really do about that. But it's barely noticeable. Next thing you do, also using Novus 2, we're going to do the rubber guard around the whole thing, and surprisingly that really makes it look good again. Once again, not perfect. Some of this won't come out, but it's loads better looking now. I can really see the green come out. That's all I'm trying to aim for, is to make it look as good as possible considering. Now the next step is just to do polish, shine, wax on the part I just did. And that's all there is to it, to polishing up the base. Now we'll do the hood. Here's the hood. Some weird red and brown scuffs on top, but otherwise in relatively good shape. Now it's like new. Now we can put this back on the base. Same thing as during assembly. Lower this, put this on like the high setting. Flip it. There you go. So now we're going to go ahead and put the handle on since it's done. There we go. And same procedure as this assembly, except I'm going to do it right, like whoever put it together before. There, nice tight handle now. It ain't going anywhere. So the next step now is I'm gonna condition the vinyl bag and put it together. Now comes this part. One way to help with the orientation I'm putting on, see, this is where that little screw and nut go. You don't want the middle piece here, you want to flip that piece down so it goes right in between the two. Like that. Now the only thing wrong with this bag is the zipper broke on it. So we'll have to deal without that for now. Put the bag on. Type C. Now, as I mentioned, squeeze it, put those down in there. Oops. And I'm gonna stretch it up and slip it over that. Now the bag's on. Like I said, unfortunately I can't zipper it. That's the only thing bad about it. I'll figure that out later on. And so there it is, fully restored. Now this will be a topic for another video. I'm not going to get into them, but all these other vacuums in here, I've been working on during this quarantine thing, so I wiped them out. That's in a Eureka and Harley's Rainbow. These are all the convertibles I have. Not to say I still have plenty of vacuums to work on, they're just not Hoover convertibles. That said, let's get right down to it.